because maybe Steve wasn't a sociopath.
Well, and that's the hardest thing too is, divorce is not a one size fits all.
Right.
There's so many people that see the amicable split and they see the exes that can go on vacations together and do all those things and be at the same birthday for that child and come together. And in a perfect world, that's what we all want.
God, I would kill for that. I would love to for my children to have had
That's
that.
everybody's reality. And you know what? That's okay.
It is
Like,
okay.
excuse my language, but fuck anybody that
Right.
thinks that you need to, put yourself in that environment and put your own emotional and mental health on the line for your child. And at the end of the
Right.
day, if you're not right, your child's not right.
And they won't. Right. That's just it. If I did what people told me to do back then, well, just put your feelings aside and just sit there.
Mhm.
Okay, well then when my children start to become abused, guess what they'll do? They'll still sit next to them and not tell anybody because someone told them they have to.
Right.
Well, we watched mom do it even though she was not wanting to do it, so we will do it. And then the cycle just fucking continues generation after generation after generation and nobody stops it. So
Generation.
yeah, I took the path of like, fuck it. If the court system doesn't like me, I really don't give a shit. I've already donated. I think I own half the building anyways. Let's just own another part.
In my court fees, my attorney's fees, all the
I had
outcomes.
validated parking. I was there so much. I knew the sheriffs that did the door. I was there when they put in metal detectors. I was going there for so long. And they knew my name. I knew their wives' names. Like I knew how one of them took his coffee. Like it was insane to me. And I thought that was normal
Yeah,
because I didn't know anything about divorce. I thought everybody had to spend days upon days in court. I thought everybody had 53 witnesses in their case, right? No, that only happens when you have the top two dogs in the whole county who are the most expensive with the oldest judge when everybody was just rubbing everybody's pockets. They saw two people that were never going to agree.
totally. And that's the next topic that I really want to jump into with you is a woman that's going through a narcissistic divorce. The expectation level that she has going into the court system should not be very high.
Low standards.
Put it on the
Low
ground.
standards. And that's things I didn't know. I didn't know that when you start a divorce, first off, I think too many of us women, we spend too much time with the conversation in our head about how to tell him I want a divorce. We spend weeks, if not months to a year, coming up with the courage, the conversation. Will my children be there? Is my mom going to call? Should I have my dad swing by? Are the neighbors? We worry about that conversation because we know it's going to be a fucking explosion.
Right.
And so we plan so many weeks and months about that conversation of telling our spouse we want a divorce that we don't think that's plan A. We don't think plan B, C, and D, and all the way. We don't have any of the next steps ready, but those narcissists do. And so I think if I had a do over, and I so know many women that want to, I would have worried less about saying I want a divorce because I already would have had it planned out. I already would have interviewed attorneys. I would have already had my parenting plan written because that's the thing I didn't know too. I didn't know that no matter, how I get divorced, at the end of the day, when I am divorced, I will be walking away with a parenting plan about how I will finish raising my child with this person.
Right.
I should have paid so much attention to what that was going to say, what it was going to mean, and how it was going to cripple me for the years to come. And I think when we say we want a divorce, we just want rid of this person. We're like, get this person the fuck out of our life.
Right.
But that parenting plan is what connects you two for forever together until that child's an adult. And so what it says is really still like another marriage certificate. It's like, here's how married we are still. We still have to co-parent. We still have to talk. We still have to engage. We go these places together. You can't make a decision without me. You can't pay for anything without me. And it's like, you don't know what that means because you're so worried about the divorce that you don't put emphasis on, but what's the single co-parenting journey look like? That's where your focus has to be, especially if you're divorcing a narcissist, because they are obsessed with you. And so they know that if the parenting plan is shitty and it's vague and it's just very undescriptive, they get to be in your life like kryptonite all the time, fucking with you and manipulating you and saying, oh, it doesn't say that, so I can. Oh, it doesn't say I have to, so I don't want to. Like they love that the parenting plan is vague because now that's power and control and communication with you. And that's what they live off of.
Got to make sure there's no loopholes.
Exactly. It's got to be airtight, baby, because and I think that there's a misconception there. The parenting plan for narcissists, they mostly won't follow it, but it's your protection as the good parent, as the safe parent, as the rule following parent. You at least know where you stand, what you're allowed to do, when you're allowed to see your kid, when you're allowed to pick up. It's your baseline of like protection. No matter how crazy they get, out of control they get, how demanding they get, I'm going to follow the parenting plan. You always say, I'm just going to go back to the parenting plan. Oh, I'd love to, but I'm going to go back to what the parenting plan. It's your backbone when you can't find one yet. It's what you breathe off of. But when we go through this divorce, we think our lawyer is going to know it all. We think our lawyer is going to protect us. And I'm telling you, just wrap your head around this, ladies that are listening. I don't go to a male gynecologist because they don't have a cervix. I don't. Just like I'm not going to go to a dentist that has all fake teeth. They don't know what it feels like to have teeth grinded on. So why in the hell would I go to a lawyer who's never had children, who's never been married, and or has never been divorced? If they haven't at least had one out of the three, I'm not even walking in the door, because divorce is an emotional exchange. And if your attorney doesn't know why you're fighting so hard and doesn't understand that love and passion for children and doesn't understand the emotional toll of divorce and doesn't understand mental illness, they're not the attorney for me, because they're going to treat me like Steve and Stacy's divorce. Come on, when the ink dries, you guys will be fine. You'll be able to work this out. It'll get better. It will never get better with a narcissist until you get better, but they will never change. So why am I going to get paperwork from an attorney that doesn't understand my life, doesn't understand children, doesn't understand marriage, doesn't understand high conflict? And that paperwork will never work for me. So you have to have an attorney that has a brain about high conflict. You have to have an attorney that knows how to perform in court, because most of you will end up there. Maybe not as the big, huge 8-dayer like I had, but you'll be there multiple times for that narcissist not turning stuff in, not complying, being in contempt. You'll be there. And your attorney better be a showman, better be somebody that's not intimidated by the courtroom, somebody that walks in with those shoulder pads high, because like mine did, and just runs the show. Now, my Helen was the most unorganized bitch I've ever seen in my life. She was so unorganized, but her performance in court was why I paid her the money I did.
Here you go.
Because she made my ex-husband wobble, but I had to keep her organized. So again, you should really, I have a free checklist on my website for people, for high conflict divorce attorneys, because there's certain things they got to be good at. And there's certain things, if they say certain red flags, I can get you anything you want. Red flag. I'll get you all the child support you want. Red flag. Like, you got to see numbers to make those kind of statements. You can't do that in a consultation, sir, you know? So, but you don't know these things until you've already been in it. And so sometimes you don't learn until you screw it up. And then you learn.
And we also need to not rely on our attorneys like therapists.
Oh, that's where your bill goes up.
You know,
That's why you have to have a divorce coach or a good therapist, because they're the ones. Like, I have clients on Voxer right now. The things they're bringing me, it's funny. They've been going for about 2 weeks now. They'll get on, they'll say, I can't believe I used to ask my attorney these questions. Yeah, at $400 a pop, I can't believe you did either. You know, like, absolutely not. Like, you have to have good therapists. You have to have good coaches. Again, that Avenger team,
yes.
that's who you talk about your emotions and your heartbreaking and your worries and your tribulations. Finance and parenting plan, call your attorney all day long. But that other, and we know with narcissists, it's way more than the paperwork. It's the, can you believe? Oh my gosh, I just found out he said this to the kids. You don't call your attorney for that. I mean, you can. I mean, if you got millions, because that once your attorney knows you're going to call about everything, that attorney is going to bill you every single time you ask an emotional question.
Not on every phone call.
Every staple is what I think. I mean, at this point, I was like, how did my bill get up that fast? Were you charging me for staples and stamps? Yes. Yes. I mean, your contract says it. You all got to read your contracts thoroughly before you sign.
Yes. Well, and what I've seen too with a couple of my current girlfriends is their ex-husbands being narcissists have them in constant fight or flight and
Yeah.
have scared to death that their kids are going to be taken away from them. And so instead of, thinking cognitively, they're thinking emotionally. And so boom, it's like sending that email to their attorney is, that instant gratification. And
Yeah.
taking a breath and not allowing that narcissist to feel your fire, sitting back and thinking cognitively and not coming from a place of emotion and realizing that there's nothing this narcissist can do.
Right. And that's key. When you're, and this isn't legal advice, when you are getting email after email or family wizard message or whatever, if they have so much evidence that you're a piece of shit and they can take your kids from you, go tell the courts. Go file that motion and do it. But all you're trying to do is screw with me through all these emails and all these OFW messages and all these attorney cover letters back and forth of accusation. If you got such evidence, go file a motion and get these kids in your car today. But you don't. You're just sending bullshit to me. So you'll rattle me, put me on my heels, make me second guess myself. And when narcissists, this is their tagline, leave my money alone or I'm taking those kids. I'm going to take those kids and you're going to pay me child support. Everything that comes out of their mouth has to deal with money. And they attach it to your fear of losing your children. so that you'll fold on every dollar. You'll give up the equity in the home. You'll give up fighting after retirement. You'll say no to alimony, all the things. You should never mix money conversations with children. And that's taboo and it's illegal. But most women will feel like, attorney, just let him keep his pension and he can have the house. I just want the kids. Well, what he's going to do 2 months later or a year later is he's going to go file for 50-50 again. And now you walked away from the home, you walked away from child support, you walked away from equity, you walked away from pensions, you walked away from all the money. And now he can go back and get custody a year later. He's not stupid, but you're making a decision on emotions and not with your avengers and saying, okay, I can't think rationally right now. Who can help me? Oh, my financial advisor can help me. Oh, my therapist can help me. My divorce coach can talk to me about narcissism. My therapist or my lawyer can talk to me about the legalities. You got to ask all the team members because narcissists will find your weakness and it's your kids and it's your emotions. And you think, take whatever, just leave me the kids. They're not going to do that anyways, by the way, because that will make you happy.
Right.
And they can't leave you happy. They hate you. You were disloyal to them. You left them. So they're pissed and they're going to come for you till they feel better. And here's the deep rooted part of it. They'll never feel better. They're incapable.
Yeah.
So they're always going to come for you.
Doesn't matter what you do or say.
Nothing. I mean, and again, I think when people hear that are maybe not in a real narcissistic relationship, they're like, these women sound batshit crazy.
Right.
Who would come for somebody that long? Narcissist forever. I don't care if he's remarried. I don't care if he has 2 more children. I don't care that he goes to therapy and he goes to church. He's still going to come for you. You are still going to be a picture on the back of his closet door that he looks at and game plans on how to bring you down every day. They can't let you go.
Image and reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And by you walking away and you leaving, you dirtied his, perfect little picket fence life that he was using in his back pocket.
100%. And I think it's that paranoia that because they've talked so bad about you to everyone when you left, that they think, well, she had to do the same. So I'm going to keep doing it and I'm going to do it tenfold worse because there's no way she kept her mouth shut because she actually has receipts. So I bet she told everybody. And here's the secret, narcissists that are listening. We don't tell people shit. We tell our avengers, but we don't go around town. We don't go on social media. We're embarrassed that we were ever with someone like this. So we don't talk about it publicly like you do at the grocery store, you do at the post office, you do at the school, you do at the community center, you do it at the workout place. They share it with everybody. And we're mortified. But in their mind, they're so paranoid. They're like, she has receipts on me and she's going to tell people that I did this to her, this to her, this to her. So I got to beat her to the punch. I'm going to make up 6 allegations about her so that everybody thinks, well, she told us that he abused, even though we didn't say that story because we're going to keep it to the grave probably. They make up outlandish. She does cocaine. She drinks. She smokes. She has men over. Stuff that's not even close that most people would hear and go, what? No way. But to them, it's reality. It's true. Ask them, they'll tell you. Because there has to be a reason you left. It can't just be that it didn't work out. It can't just be that he's a narcissist. It has to be her fault.
Right.
Has to be.
Yeah. I have a girlfriend going through that right now where her ex-husband has made everyone believe that she cheated on him.
Mm-hmm.
And just because after she had filed for divorce, she stopped wearing her wedding rings to the gym.
Right. And in most states, cheating isn't even illegal. So shit or get off the pot doesn't matter. That went away a long time ago. My ex-husband said that I lost my job. So I had to bring in my principal that was like, no, she has summers off. If that's where you got confused, because she's a but it was just, she was such a bad teacher. She got fired, just writing false shit down left and right to make it make sense as to why I was going after child support. I'm going after child support because I'm a teacher and you make 6 figures a year. That's no girl math. That's fucking real math. Come on, let's go. But the false allegations, and that's the other thing with narcissists. So any women listening, the false allegations, don't take them personally.
No.
They have to have evidence that it's true. But man, do they say some stuff that makes you second guess everything. Like mine accused me of drinking, which I was drinking. When I didn't have my children, I was out. I wasn't at home. I was out. Now, he wanted to make it sound like I drank every single day with the children. I was driving. I was incompetent. I wasn't going to work. Hence, I got fired. It was just like, it's a step too far. Do I have a social life and do I have friends now that I left you? Yeah, they came out of the woodwork to finally see me after all those years. You
Right.
have no one. So, yeah, it does look weird from your perspective of no friends that I'm gone all the time. You don't drink. I do. I drink when you met me. That's weird, you know? But for people that are going through that, it makes you freak out. Oh my gosh, I did go out that one time. I did go out the last 2 weekends. And now you're like, oh my gosh, he thinks I'm a drunk and he's going to tell everybody I'm a drunk. And oh my God. And it just eats at you. And then what do? You kiss his ass to get him to stop.
Right.
And then he's going, ha ha ha. All I had to do was rip on her a little bit and she came running to me and kissed my ass. My therapist all those years ago through my divorce, she was like, "Why do you keep being nice to him?" And I said, "Because it's easier." And she goes, "No, what your training is, the worse his behavior becomes, is the nicer you become. He gets worse, you kiss his ass more." She goes, "At some point, you're going to offer to suck his because that's how bad he treats you." She goes, "What's your stopping point?" And I was like, she
Didn't
goes,
have
it didn't have one. She
yeah,
goes, he keeps getting worse. He's taking you back to court over every little thing. And you're sending him pictures he didn't even ask for of the kids. You're stopping by and dropping sprites off when you see him mowing the yard, and he's taking you to court the next day. You've trained him that the more he attacks you, the nicer you are because you think it will make it stop.
right.
She's like, has it worked yet? We're on year 6. No, it didn't.
See.
You know, and that's when I started to slowly come out of the coma
Yeah.
and realize this is so fucking embarrassing. But the thing was, is I knew it was going to get worse for a little bit before it got better.
Right.
And I feared that little bit.
Right.
And now I wish I would have done that little bit on year 1 because it would have been so much easier, but I was too scared.
Of course. And
And
I
it,
so, but I think every woman is scared in that initial, what that new life is going to look like and how to migrate it,
yeah.
So I think it's understandable. I mean,
Well,
I was
they've made you believe that you're not going to be able to do shit. In the marriage, they told you if you ever leave me, you'll have nobody. Your family's already disowned you. I've already isolated. Your friends are all moved on. Everybody thinks you're a whore. Everybody thinks you're a waste of skin. They've made you believe you will have nothing. So to even envision a life without a narcissist, they've already told you what it'll look like.
right.
And you're so down on yourself, you think they're right. And so it's super hard to leave them because you have no one. That's by creation, you have no one.
Right.
And that's why you got to pull your Avengers together and say, "Hey, I woke up. I'm out of the coma. I'm ready." And I'm telling you, the second I told my parents that I was ready, my dad looked at me dead in the face and he said, "There is no change in your mind.
Mhm.
You cannot go back or we're walking away."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh God, my dad's my ride or die." Like,
That's
out. Like I cannot go with life without my dad anymore. Like I'm done, and I knew as hard as that was, like that conversation, I'm done with you. And it got worse before it got better, right? But I knew I couldn't go back because I'd been on that hamster wheel again and again and again. Like I want to separate. Oh, love bomb. And I went back every time. My dad's like, "You keep doing this, I'm done. Like it's shit or get off the pot kind of time." And so I'm glad that somebody on my Avenger team put a line in the sand and he said, you got to come to the side or we're done. So, but it's hard. It's hard when you don't know and you don't have family and you don't have friends and you don't have Avengers yet. I think that's where people got to deep dive into these podcasts and hear that, man, because I thought I was the only one dealing with crazy. I really did. For all those years, I was like, there ain't nobody like him. I can guarantee it. Now that I do this job, they're like, I mean, you could throw a ball out and you're going to hit 10 of them. I mean, they're everywhere now. So I think it's good for you to be in podcasts and get into support groups and start figuring out, who do you jive with? Is there a coach out there? Is there somebody out there that you really are like, man, I like that energy. I feel empowered. I feel like in the driver's seat when I listen to this. Keep going. And when the switch flips and you wake up from that coma, it's good.
well, and I
It's
think the
good life.
biggest thing too is never allow that isolation.
Yeah.
As
It's a
hard
red flag when somebody's like, "No, we're not going to go see your family. No, your dad can't come over." Why does he want to come over? Man, he seems over the top. He seems like he's so nosy. He seems like he's obsessed with you.
right.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, maybe he is." Like, no, he was being a dad with a guy that got me eloped in 60 days. Like, now that I am a parent, and that was one thing when my mom and dad found out we eloped and were very pissed. My mom said, "When you become a parent, you're going to know exactly how this feels
Yeah.
and why this hurts so bad."
Yeah.
And I am shit you not. They were helping me move when I was pulling out, we went past the park that my ex-husband and I got married at. And my dad said, I will never be able to look at that park the same way. And I said, now that I'm a parent of two children, I know exactly what that gut punch felt like. And I apologize
Mm.
because I wasn't. I was 26. I was like living life. Well, get married. Okay. My parents will think it's cool. No, no, they did not, and now that I'm a parent, I will my children if they elope and don't tell me, especially with somebody I'm not supportive of.
Right. Right.
And they weren't because they didn't even get to know him. They met him once.
See.
It's all by design now. Now I see it so crystal clear. But when I was living it, I felt like I was getting just swooned. Like, oh my gosh, this man is obsessed with me. I have never been with somebody that says all these awesome things and he's letting me move in and he wants me to help raise his son. And oh my gosh, his first wife sounds like an absolute ripping bitch that just mistreated him so bad. And now, years later, I'm going to my stepson's wedding and going to celebrate with that first wife. And guess who's not invited? The dad, and how life all works out. Yes, exactly.
Karma's a bitch.
It
I,
is.
I think the last question I have for you is, and it's a big one to a lot of moms now who are coming off the high conflict divorce circumstances, and now they're trying to be there for their children. What did you learn in your circumstance and environment on how to allow your children to decompress?
Yep.
They come back to the stable environment from the narcissistic parents' household.
Well, first and foremost, it's a transition training, which I have inside of the next chapter that I help membership for moms. But it's a transition day, and sometimes day goes into a whole weekend of transition. But first and foremost, to every mom listening, and I'll get into some tips on the transition. The only way your child will ever be able to recover back after being with a narcissist is if they come back to an environment where they can. And what I mean by that is you, as mom, have to be emotionally regulated. What was I not the whole time my children were growing up? My first set of kids, emotionally regulated. I was dysregulated. My nervous system was shot. I was in fight or flight. I was using alcohol to sleep. I was batshit back then. Just everything triggered me. I'd cry, I'd scream. I was a hollering mom. Get over here. Stop playing with her. Quit fighting. I mean, it was not peace and calm and candles when they walked in from dad's house, right? And so I would say, first and foremost, get your shit right first. Emotionally regulate yourself, figure out how to calm yourself, figure out how to not take anything personal when they walk in the door and they robotically say the things they've been told to say to you, or hit you, or bite you, or call you the C word, like my 3-year-old daughter did when she walked in the door one day. You have to not take that personally because that's all coming from the narcissist, right? So I'm not taking things personally and I'm not going anywhere because that's another mistake I would make. They'd come home on Sunday at 4 and I'd be like, all right, get in the car. Let's go. We're going to grandma's. And they're like, wait a second. We haven't even wrapped our head around like that we've switched gears and we're already going to a third party location. Like this is too much. So don't plan anything. Let them come home to a charged up iPad. Favorite snacks are made. The house is picked up. It's calm, peace, calm. It's not a hoardy house. It's not a messy house. The room is good, nice and picked up and organized, and things are laid out. Because some of your kids are anxious and they're like, oh my gosh, I got school tomorrow. Is my book bag ready? Is my lunchbox? Get all that shit ready for them. Let them come back and have their moment. This might be walk in the door with no hug and no kiss, especially if that narcissist was the one that dropped them off, because that narcissist can still see them. And when they hug and kiss on you, they're being disloyal to the narcissist. And then they feel guilty, like, but mom, he's watching and he's going to get mad if I kiss you because he doesn't like when you kiss me. Like he doesn't like that. So please. So if your kid is cold to you, don't take it personal. If your kid doesn't want to hug, don't take it. Save that for the inside closed door where the narcissist is not around. But sometimes that kid just wants to go straight to toys, straight to an iPad, straight to the bathroom to poop for the first time in 3 days, straight to the juice box that they haven't had for 3 days. You underestimate how much they've been missing about your house, not just you. But you can't take it personal when they don't walk in the door and go, oh my gosh, mom, I miss you so much. Mama, I kiss you. They might not be like that because they have to. I relate it to this. I loved my teaching job, but on Fridays when I came home, I was pissed off at the world. I was just like, that was a hard week. I was stressed. Don't talk to me for like 30 minutes. Let me go take my bra off. Let me go take a shower. Let me go take a poop. Let me get a snack. Let me have a Diet Coke and I'll talk to you. But give me 30 minutes. I'll tell it to my kids because it was a hard week at work. That's the same feeling your 3-year-old comes home with after 3 or 4 days with the narcissist. They're like, Get away from me. Let me take this pants off. Let me change my clothes. Let me get my favorite snack. Can I play on my freaking iPad, please? Like they just want to decompress. So that first hour to first day that they're back, you kind of have to, again, they need to be respectful, but sometimes you have to think comments like this. Hey, what you said to me, I will listen to, but how you delivered it, kind of had a little bit of an attitude, had a little bit of a tang. Okay. Like we need to work on how you said it, maybe not what you said. Cause I want to hear you. I want you to be able to express yourself. Right. Because over there, they're being a robot. They are literally doing whatever performative thing they need to do to make that narc happy. So they're exhausted. They haven't rested. They haven't slept. They've been in fight or flight for 3 days.
Right.
And so when they come home, they may sleep a lot. They may eat you out of house and home because their stomach wasn't calm enough to eat a lot over there because they were nervous all of the time. They may be wanting you to dump into their love tank, whatever your child's love language is. Maybe they haven't had a good hug and good snuggles. So they're going to want to sleep with you. They're going to want to nap with you. Maybe they haven't been played with. So they're the kid that goes, Mom, will you play with me now? Will you play with me? Will you play with me? Will you play with me? Because all they did was have an iPad the whole fucking weekend. They may want to be like, can I eat this? Can I eat this? Oh my gosh. And you're like, did your dad feed you? Don't say shit like that to your kids. Like just feed them the freaking snacks, right? Words. Do you see me? What do you think? What do you think? That's what kid that needs. I see you. I appreciate you. Wow, you're doing such a good job. Look at how good you're being. You're so kind. You're so nice. Look at you hold that door. You acts of service. Oh, I picked up your room. You did? Because over there I'm the maid, and you picked up my room. Oh my gosh, that feels like you have to know your kids' love language because they're coming back to you on an empty, red, flashing 2 miles till this thing turns off kind of vibe. Yeah. And so it's your job to refill them at the pace that it's okay. They don't want you to swarm the second you get there. They've been swarmed all weekend by narcissists. So they're like, give me some space. Let me decompress a little bit. And maybe in an hour, come in my room and ask me. But in their room is their iPad, snacks, the music, the candle. Your house smells good. There's light music going on, Hertz music to regulate that nervous system. Take their shoes and socks off and have them walk around the yard to ground them a little bit more. Again, I'm a little woohooey, but all this shit works.
I'm the same way.
All that, maybe you say, hey, kiddo, about an hour into them being home, Mom's had a hellacious day too. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go in the living room. I'm going to scream into a pillow 5 times. You want to do it with me? Let's do it. Now, you might didn't have a rough day, but you're showing them that that's how you cope to get them to cope. We got to I describe it as your kids coming home with all these neurons inside their body that are all from anger, frustration, fear, anxiety, and they don't know where to put them. And they're just bouncing off the wall. They're biting you. They're peeing the bed. They've pooped their pants. And you're like, what? You pooped your pant? Like what? It needs to come out somehow. If you have boys or girls that like to be rough, have a Nerf gun fight with your kids. Have a pillow fight with your kids when they walk in. Get that aggression out. I used to let Walker, my oldest, throw knives. It started out as forks at trees. Then it went to knives. Then it went to when the neighbors would throw out an old desk, my ass would go pick it up. I'd let him beat the shit out of that thing with a hammer. Like Josie would put earbuds in and go down and box this punching bag that I got for her. She'd come up drenched in sweat. But they need to get all of that energy out somehow. Some kids will sit on an iPad and it'll all come out. Some kids will walk in grass and it'll all come out. You have to find what's best for your kid, but expecting them to walk in the door and greet you with hugs and kisses and I miss yous and be perfect, you're delusional. Yeah. You're delusional. Because how would you feel after 3 days going back in that house? You'd be miserable too, walking back into your safe zone. This is the child's safe places with you. So they're going to act a fool. They're going to act crazy. They're going to do all the wrong things for a short period of time. You're going to reassure them. You're going to fill their love tank up. You're going to feed them. And then you're going to slowly talk to them and say, okay, now remember, we're at Mom's house where you're safe. You're allowed to have toys out. You're allowed to have loud noises. You're allowed to mess up. You're allowed to spill something. You're allowed to be loud. Because over there, you know what that house is like, right? And sometimes we have to counter that house to get them to feel safe again. So it's a big, huge training that I have, but that is it in a nutshell. And the biggest thing I could tell you is if you're regulated and you teach them coping skills of when you're not, let your kids see you triggered. Let your kids see you bothered. But the very next second, they see you coping, being triggered. They see you problem solving yourself. They see you tapping like crazy. They see you just over there, just tapping the shit out of yourself. Mom's having a moment. She needs to be in timeout for a minute. I had a rough day at work, kiddo. I had a rough day. Let me tap. Talk to me in 5 seconds, okay? I just need to tap a little bit longer. Then when that kid has a rough day, he's going to say, Mom, help me tap. My 7-year-old still does that to this day. He'll walk up and say, Mom, my brother pissed me off. Can I tap with you?
Oh,
Let's tap. Let's do it. Because he knows it calms him down. Now, my first set of kids, they would have been like, Mom calms herself down by screaming at us about everything. And then she's fine 5 seconds later. And then we're still mad at her because she screamed at us, but she got it out. So she's all better. So my big kids, when they come home to me now with my littles, they're like, little bros, do you know how good you have this version? Whoa, she's like so well equipped. We got the unequipped version, right? And that's okay because we've worked through our stuff, the bigs and I, but it's just one of those self-regulation for you, mom, is what the biggest component to your kids will be okay if you're okay.
yeah.
Hand to God. Like that is my truest, honest opinion. There's not a magic book or a pill or a class. It's if you're okay, they will be okay.
Yeah. Biggest thing that I've also shown my daughter is, like you were saying, but in a way that a younger child can understand is, yoga.
Yeah.
I'll get down on the floor and do yoga with her,
Mm-hmm.
or we'll dance together.
Breathing,
Yeah.
just
Breath.
breathing, breath work, and teaching your kids. You're worked up. Okay, let me get down to your level. Let's breathe together. I'm having kind of a rough day too. Let's do it together. They have to know that you got it rough sometimes too. That it's not all rainbows and unicorns for you. You got to be approachable
Yes.
because high conflict parent, well, they're perfect. I mean, just ask them, they'll tell you, right? They're perfect. They never have a bad day. I don't raise my voice. The kids never act over here. They're always perfect over here. Okay, bullshit. You have to teach your kids that you are the approachable parent
Yes.
and you're not asking about the other house
Yes.
because you really don't want to know the answers about that house anyways.
That
Deep down, you
emotion
don't.
is okay. Real
Right.
emotion is okay. Showing real emotion to your children is
Yes.
okay.
Yes. And that you're not always with it. And,
Right.
but here's how I get back to it. Here's how I get back to being better. I have coping skills. I'm going to teach you mine. And maybe, and schools are doing much better job of teaching kids coping skills. I know my kids were the ones that brought tapping home. And I'm like, I just had a therapist teach me tapping and they're teaching that at school. Shit, let's go. Let's tap together. I mean, it was remarkable. But the grounding, I mean, I love just, hey kids, help me come outside and carry something. I'm just wanting them to walk in the grass. Follow me real quick, follow leader. And they don't know what grounding is, but we're out there barefoot walking in the grass, and they're all of a sudden calm when they go inside. It's just simple stuff like that, that nobody, in the midst of your divorce and high conflict co-parenting journey, nobody's pulling you aside and say, hey, Sam, you need to ground your kids. Nobody's doing that. They're like, Sam, you need to get along with your ex-husband. Sam,
Right.
you need to try harder. Sam, and it's like, and that's why I was like so on edge all the time because I was living a lie that wasn't working. It was not working for me. And when I got into all this kind of stuff and self-care and self-love and personal development and all this woohoo stuff, that's when my calm came in. And then that's when my kids got empowered. And
Yes.
then the narcissist didn't win anymore.
Yeah, no, it's very true. And I know there's so many women that are dealing with this more than ever before, you know.
Absolutely. It's an epidemic. I mean, I think mental health is getting out of hand, especially since COVID, and resources are just limited and people are self-regulating with things that is just making things worse. And so it's going to be on an uprise and you have to get the skill set down because this isn't going away. You have to be able to not only know how to deal with narcissists from your co-parenting journey, but not pick up another one
Right.
and have another divorce with another one. So you got to learn the patterns and they're very pattern oriented. If you document well, you're going to see patterns if you take a step back and look at all of it. They show up the same every time.
Especially with love bombing. I think love bombing
Mhm.
is the biggest thing in the very beginning that we all don't pay attention to.
Yeah, we think it's so wonderful, and it's all smoke and mirrors. It's a distraction so that you don't see the true self.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Well, Sam, it was an honor to have you on the lounge today. I really appreciate you making time for us.
Thank you so much. And again, I hope anybody listening, you just know that you're not alone, but get yourself good and your kids will be fine.
Yes, 100%. Thank you so much.
You're
And
welcome.
back. I know you're going to be in California soon, so it'd be great to actually have you come in studio and for us to do some more in-depth conversation together.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.